for the National Treasury and Economic Planning, the Honorable CPA John Buddy, my colleague directors of KRA, or directors of the Board of KRA, Commissioners General present, founding emeritus and the eighth, senior government officials, esteemed stakeholders, KRA staff, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Oh, it's still morning. I apologize. Good morning. Allow me to start by stating the obvious. You know, without revenue, there is no state. It's a fairly straightforward point. Without revenue, there is no state. It's not a unique trait of Kenya. I'm talking globally. And it's not just in current times, even in the time of Jesus. Those of you who read either the Bible or the Quran, you'll have noticed where the citizen is being encouraged to finance the state. Because without taxes, there is no state. And I'll come back to this point as I finish my remarks. The second thing that is also perhaps not as obvious to all of us in the Republic is that KRA, or perhaps let me be more specific, when we say customs, it is customs and border control. And border control is a security function about what and who comes to this Republic and what it means for the safety of the citizens of this Republic. I said to you again, without these functions, there is no state. So it's a profound honor for me, and I think for all of us, to be here to celebrate 30 years of KRA, 3 decades of remarkable service and commitment to building our nation and its future. It's a wonderful milestone, but it's not just about the institution itself. It's about the extraordinary men and women who breathe life into KRA every single day. And reflecting on that journey, we must take pride in the milestones achieved by successive cycles of leadership. From the Secretariat that Winnie has so eloquently described, through the transformation to automated systems, to current work at digital transformation. And each era has left legacy, and legacy of progress. Over these years, each board, each Commissioner General, each leadership team has contributed to the KRA we see today. An institution that is resilient, that is adaptive, that is central to Kenya's economic stability. As we were in the holding room, Dr. Susan Koech, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, reminded us the relationships, the economic relationships, that to finance the affairs of the state every year, our Cabinet Secretary and government depends on the outcomes of KRA. If those outcomes are less than perhaps was expected, then it falls to her and the monetary authority to go into the market to borrow in order to finance the state. When that happens, it is in competition with private sector, which then has impact in terms of the health of the economy. So these key institutions are interrelated that way. And so I want to remind all of us that debt is deferred tax. I see my friends nodding and wondering where I'm going with this. Debt is deferred tax because ultimately we have to raise or collect revenue that is used to pay that tax. That is why, for instance, we track ratios such as, the debt service to ordinary revenue, because ultimately we have to raise revenue to pay debts. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the progress that has been made over these 30 years should give us confidence that the future will even be brighter. From a governance point of view, as board, our duty has been to ensure accountability, safeguard integrity, and align KRA's operations to Kenya's development priorities. Beyond policies and systems, our greatest responsibility certainly is to the people who serve KRA. You, our staff, are the very soul of the Kenya Revenue Authority. That is why at board, we are deliberate in resource mobilization efforts to ensure that KRA is well resourced to fully discharge its mandate. We envision, at board, a full transformation of KRA into a service institution. We simplified compliance processes, efficient service delivery, a customer-centered facilitation approach, enhanced staff welfare, and pathways for career growth. It also means that we intentionally nurture an environment where innovation and creativity thrives, where ideas are heard and where contributions are celebrated. Equally important, we continue to provide sound governance and strategic oversight to the leadership and the larger KRA fraternity. In delivering this mandate, we will continue to strengthen collaboration with other government agencies, with Parliament, with county governments, the private sector, as well as development partners to steer KRA towards becoming an efficient, credible, transparent, and accountable institution. You know, I was observing when the Commissioner General spoke about what has happened to their hair. You know, the Commissioner. Well, I think I've not been here enough to lose all of it. What I've discovered, what I saw sitting next to my waziri there, is that both of us, well, it's a bit more gray than it was not so long ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to be a service institution. So I'm sure you'll ask me, like who? Where are you looking? The Swedish tax agency comes to mind. By the way, you know, Commissioner Obel and Commissioner Rispa may be happy to know, in Sweden, the elections body is a department to Nylon. The elections body in Sweden is a department of the equivalent of KRA, that is the STA. Whenever surveys are done, the STA is usually in the top 10 most trusted institutions in Sweden. And we aspire to be that. I am gratified to see, though, that when surveys are done in Kenya about where to work, where Kenyans would like to work, KRA is usually in the top 5. Looking to the future, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, resource mobilization will remain key because Kenya's ambitious development agenda requires an empowered, well-supported tax administration. In this regard, we will continue to advocate for adequate funding to forge stronger partnerships with the National Treasury and development partners, and to embrace innovative financing that allows KRA to expand its capacity while prioritizing service delivery, staff growth, and welfare. By working together, we can mobilize resources more effectively, shape responsive policies, and ensure taxation serves as a true engine of national growth. As we mark this 30th anniversary, let us celebrate the past and also commit to a future where KRA is not only a leader in revenue administration, but also a model employer that nurtures, values, and protects its people. Together, we can build KRA and a more prosperous Kenya. So as I conclude, I said to you again, without revenue, there is no state. And the state belongs to you, the citizens. And the reason we wish to transform ourselves to Kenya Revenue Service is that we are a service to you, the citizens of the Republic, to collect resources to finance the state. And we therefore, at every time, seek to be a service provider to you, to be a partner as we improve in the manner highlighted by the Commissioner General. So happy 30th anniversary, KRA. The best is yet to come.